fire progressed to the point that it's going to be a total loss on the building.
Right now at 10, a fire devastates a business on Joplin's east side. KCU holds its first commencement for the Joplin campus. A church in Webb City hosts a special event for Mother's Day. A local Route 66 staple is now up for sale.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A fire breaks out at a Joplin business, and it's called in by the owner who witnessed it on his security camera. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Chris Warner. Fire officials on the scene say a car caught fire inside the auto shop. They say due to it being a body shop, the chemicals within the building may have played a part in the fire. Joplin, Diamond, Carthage, and Webb City's fire departments were called in to assist.
Well, it was reported that they had a car on fire inside the structure. It's a body shop. It is naturally prone to be able to burn just because of some of the chemicals and stuff that they have inside. The fire progressed to the point that it's going to be a total loss on the building.
Now, the fire did not spread outside of the building. No direct cause has been reported, but officials have ruled the fire an accident. Well, glamping, or glamorous camping, is gaining popularity, especially here in the 4 states. Instead of traditional tents with sleeping bags, glampers are treated to tents with beds, coffee machines, and even decorations like a chandelier. Now, this Mother's Day, some Joplin residents ventured down to Jane, Missouri to see what the activity is all about.
Actually, to me, it was they got an outlet in the tent, you know, so
had a comfortable bed. Just like the storm came through last night, those tents held up wonderful. If we were in a regular tent, we would have blown away.
Yeah,
we would have been Toto all the way in Tulsa.
Well, glamping has also opened up the outdoors to people who wouldn't normally venture out. Webb City's Church of the Nazarene got into the Mother's Day spirit today by kicking things off with a family portrait session. But since this special day is all about mom, there were plenty of individual photos of the kids taken too. One local mom and church member tells us that why those individual photos of her children are so precious to her.
I like the group ones, but I also like the individual because they're older now, so I don't get the individual pictures as much anymore because they're always somewhere else.
Now, the Webb City Church of the Nazarene wasn't the only Webb City location doing something special for moms today. The Just a Taste restaurant in Webb City hosted a special Mother's Day brunch throughout the weekend. Kansas City University's Joplin's Medical School held their first ever graduation for their Joplin campus. The ceremony was held at Missouri Southern State University to ensure proper social distancing. Some procedures were modified, such as mask wearing and limited guests. During the pandemic, the school transitioned to online learning for a bit, but students were able to receive hands-on learning and prepare for the workforce and were able to celebrate their hard work in person.
So we were so blessed today that for the first graduation in Joplin, we were able to get together and celebrate it as a community.
I've been telling myself since high school, you know, med school graduation is really what I'm interested in. That's the stage I want to walk across. Everything else is just a stepping stone to get there. And when the pandemic came and I thought, oh, I might not get to do the walk, I was a little disappointed, I won't lie. But being able to be here and actually physically walk across the stage and have one of my mentors in medicine, Dr. Hiral Shah, hood me has been fantastic.
131 new doctors emerged from today's graduation ceremony. That ceremony being held indoors, it's a good day to be indoors. A little cloudy, a little chilly today, Nick.
Yeah, even if we got past the rain and thunderstorms this morning, Chris, we just couldn't shake the clouds. And the temperatures, these numbers are a bit deceiving, let's be quite frank here. The high of 76, that was actually a high at 149 this morning. Then once we got behind the storm system, we tanked into the 50s. Coldest we've been so far today is 51. Even though we've been sitting quiet for much of the evening, I have been noticing some returns in our northwestern counties on the radar network, but it's really amounting to maybe a few showers across Greenwood County and northern parts of Woodson County, mainly north of Yates Center. Much of us are going to stay dry as we go through the overnight, but this extra moisture working in from the west, hinting at our next upper level wave that wants to keep rain chances in the forecast as we get the new work week and school week started. I'm going to hold off on those rain chances until we get the morning drive started. Otherwise, we'll be starting out in the mid-40s. And as you can see, Chris, temperatures will hop out near 60, even though we'll have a lot of cloud cover and some more rain chances to deal with. We'll see how the rest of the week's shaping up here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, around much of the U.S., there are drops in hospitalizations, new cases, and deaths from COVID-19. While just over a third of the population is fully vaccinated, some U.S. health experts are saying it's time to ease more restrictions. CBS News correspondent Mola Linghi reports from New York.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb says areas with lower rates of COVID-19 can safely start lifting limits on indoor and outdoor gatherings and ending mask mandates.
COVID won't disappear. We're going to have to learn to live with it, but the risk is substantially reduced as a result of vaccination, as a result of immunity that people have acquired through prior infection.
For generally healthy vaccinated people, Gottlieb says the risk of getting a severe COVID-19 case is reduced substantially. Daily average cases are down to just over 40,000 new cases in the latest week.
I would say we are turning the corner.
Dr. Anthony Fauci was asked about the likelihood the U.S. will see another surge this fall.
If we get 70% of the people vaccinated by the 4th of July, namely one single dose, and even more thereafter, you may see blips, but if we handle them well, it is unlikely that you'll see the kind of surge that we saw in the late fall and the early winter.
Here at New York's LaGuardia Airport and across the nation, passengers are once again taking to the skies. On Friday, 1.7 million people were checked at airport security, a new pandemic high.
And on this Mother's Day, pandemic shutdowns have, in part, squeezed supplies of flowers, with reports of sharply higher prices.
A specific variety of rose, you might not get it.
Jeannie Herbst says business at her Scottsdale, Arizona flower shop has been fantastic this year. Mola Lenghi, CBS News.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 45% of the U.S. population has had at least one COVID-19 shot. Well, the mystery is over as to where wreckage of an out-of-control Chinese rocket would land. Pieces of the rocket finally fell to Earth Sunday morning, local time, as people around the world anxiously kept their eyes on the skies. Tanya Bacchus has the latest from Los Angeles.
Remnants of a 20-ton Chinese rocket rained down on the Indian Ocean, somewhere southwest of India and Sri Lanka Sunday morning local time, which was around 10:30 Saturday night Eastern Time. Chinese state-run media is reporting the bulk of its largest rocket burned upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere near the Maldives. The Long March 5B rocket blasted off April 29th, carrying components of China's planned space station, Harmony of the Heavens. But the Chinese Space Agency lost control of the rocket as it continued its 17,000-mile-an-hour orbit around the Earth, edging closer and closer with each pass. Skywatchers caught glimpses of it as it tracked as far north as New York and as far south as New Zealand.
This is the second largest uncontrolled re-entry in the last couple of decades.
There were fears it would send objects weighing hundreds of pounds slamming into the Earth as it re-entered the atmosphere.
About 9 tons we estimate will survive. And of that's kind of equivalent to dropping 3 pickup trucks on somebody's head or crashing a small airplane.
The U.S. military tracked the rocket's trajectory but had no plans to shoot it down. China insisted its remnants were unlikely to cause harm.
What you have to remember is the world is 75% covered in water. In the land area, while it's very vast, there's a lot more empty land for debris to fall on than there are populated areas.
Still, the suspense as to exactly where pieces of that rocket would land had many on the edge of their seats. Tanya Bacchus, CBS News.
Well, we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Tech Sergeant Wesley Burnham served in the Air Force in 2006 and was stationed in Iraq, his hometown, Carl Junction. We are proud to recognize Tech Sergeant Wesley Burnham, tonight's four-state hero. And that's a look at our top stories and a quick check of that forecast on the KOAM News at 10. Still ahead, a unique stop along historic Route 66 could be yours. A unique treasure along historic Route 66 has closed its doors and is now up for sale. So we decided to stop by this roadside treasure and find out more. Look, up on the wall, by the door, in the case, it's Superman. All at the Superman Museum and Ice Cream Parlor along Carterville's Main Street, run by Larry Tamminen. But why Superman?
Well, Superman was my hero, and it was a big hero in it. And still is, you know.
It's been an iconic staple along Route 66 since 2006. Tamminen says people from across the globe have paid a visit, giving him a number of unique items.
It's just stuff like that that's real personal.
Including parts of his impressive collection.
But yeah, some of this stuff was gave to me, of course. People that know you collect. You want this? Well, yeah, give it to me.
But now, the sign inviting you in is inviting you to buy a little piece of history, as Tamminen has decided to close down.
I hate to do it. Kids just love it. You meet people from all over the world. Travelers from all over. It's really sharp. You wouldn't believe it.
He's got a guest book. Make that several guest books signed by visitors from places across the U.S. and the world, many written in their native languages. They came for his collection and his famous ice cream flavors, bins that will now sit empty. As for his reason for closing up shop,
mainly the body. Superman's body here. But it's 70 years old and retired.
He's hopeful somebody with Superman strength will swoop in and save the day.
Well, you ask them if they're going to kind of do what I did with it.
Now, if you're interested in being Carterville's new superhero, you can find out more from the SuperTam Facebook page. We've got a link in this story on our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, temperatures were a little disrespectful today compared to yesterday. Nick Kelly's up next with what the week ahead holds for us.
Even though we got things to clear out after the thunderstorms and rain this morning, we couldn't shake off the cloud cover, and that had a big impact on temperatures for this Mother's Day of 2021. Granted, again, we had the rain out there to start this morning out from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri. And again, even though we were dry this afternoon, the cloud cover held firm, and that did have an impact on temperatures. Lower to middle 80s. That's where we were on a beautiful Saturday yesterday. Mid-70s, that's what we held to begin the overnight. Then once the storms and the cold front rolled through, we tanked into the 50s, and we stayed there for much of the day. But at the very least, even though we were cloudy for the entire day, it was nice to dry out after we had that big complex of thunderstorms sneak in from the north. Thankfully, no severe weather came from that, but quite a bit of rainfall for those that saw the rain. At least ½ an inch to 2 inches of rainfall, but on the average with this system, most spots picking up 0.6 of an inch. Even though we were quiet for much of the day with mostly cloudy skies, we have noticed some returns on the radars coming out of central Kansas. But if we look closely from Wichita's perspective here, we're seeing just a few showers in northern parts of Greenwood County and a couple random very light showers. It's kind of skirting around Yates Center across Woodson County. I think most of us will stay dry during the overnight, but we're not quite done with our rain chances just yet. Right now we're at 50 in Joplin with the north breeze pushing 10. Humidity still high at 83%. We're sitting primarily right at the 50-degree mark across much of the area. Some lower to middle 50s still trying to hold on in northeastern Oklahoma, but we drop back into the mid-40s tonight with the cloud cover in place while we watch for that additional moisture to keep on trying to work in from the west. But at least our rain chances for the next few days won't come from our last storm system, which is still spawning some nasty severe weather across parts of the deep south. Our rain chances will come from the stubborn upper low, the same low that helped aid in our thunderstorms last night and this morning. This will keep us kind of unsettled for the next 3 days before we turn much brighter and drier come Thursday. So the few showers that are out there now, they'll work on through. Most of us though are dry during the overnight, but it's not until we get the morning drive underway tomorrow with lows starting in the mid-40s. We'll see a good deal of moisture roll in from the west as our next disturbance rolls through. That will keep rain chances around late morning into the afternoon to start. Then I think we'll taper things off to a random shower or two with maybe some more sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. 46 in the morning, 54 by noon, highs near 60. But note the wind as well. If we're keeping this light tomorrow compared to the wind over the past few days, northeast during the day at 5 to 10. We're quiet tomorrow night going into Tuesday morning with the cloud cover still holding it steady, but we'll see another good shot for rain chances as we go through Thursday with highs staying near 60. And as long as this persistent upper low hangs around on Wednesday, we'll have another shot for some rain in the morning, which could add up to about a quarter to half an inch of rainfall on the average. Thankfully, though, we're quiet Thursday and Friday as temperatures go up on the rebound. But sticking with Doug's pattern, with this next upper low on the way by next Saturday and Sunday, that'll be another chance for thunderstorms as we go deeper into next weekend. But as far as temperatures go, not too terrible, really. 60 tomorrow and Tuesday, 61 on Wednesday, mid-60s Thursday, 72 on Friday. Every with thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday, Chris, will hold steady with highs in the 70s.
Not too bad. It seems a little cool for this time of the year, but...
I know, so cool. You heard me choke up over it.
I noticed that. We'll get you some
But
lozenges
no,
or something.
thankfully, we are going to be on the warming trend as we go on this week.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, it's Championship Sunday. Stay tuned for highlights from the final day of events at the MIAA Outdoor Championships. Plus, Labette softball has a shot at the conference title today. Danny Terzer has it all next.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. After Saturday's action at the MIAA Outdoor Championships, the Pittsburgh State women are in 4th place while the men are in 1st. The men are hunting down their 6th outdoor championship in the last 10 years. In day 2, here's the 200-meter dash. Christine Williams is the runner-up with a time of 24.06. London Futch also locks up 2nd place. Futch in the 400-meter dash gets a time of 55.88. For the men, Mason Strader, in his first time racing on PSU's track in his career at the school, makes it special. Strader claims the title in the 800-meter run. The Gorilla men finish off the weekend on top. They are the MIAA Outdoor Champions.
It's about the tightest, most dedicated team I've ever been around, and they just weren't going to be denied. They do all the little things right, all the big things right. Great leadership on this team. One of the best in Pitt State history, without question. I'm so proud of this team. It's really special to win at home.
For Missouri Southern, Breon Randall finishes in 2nd in the 400-meter dash with a time of 48.51. He also finishes 4th in the 200-meter dash. On the women's side, Lania Wallace finishes 4th in the 400-meter hurdles. Jasmine Deckard gets 3rd in the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.69. Missouri Southern claims the MIAA Outdoor Championship on the women's side, their first outdoor title since 2010.
It was just a tremendous team effort. You know, our women have been knocking on the door for so long, you know, and we were just trying to think about that. In the last 5 years, we have been within 10 points in consecutive championships to winning, and for these girls to put it together today was just a really great feat for them.
Labette softball is 31-13 heading into their final 2 games of the regular season. Today, they host a top 10 matchup against Highland. The Cardinals have a chance to win with the conference with a doubleheader sweep. In Game 1, Dakota Miller in the gap for a base hit. Cheyenne Minnick scores for the first run of the game. Then, bases loaded, Natalie Oxendine draws a walk. Morgan Holland scores to tie it up. Highland, though, surges late and Labette falls in Game 1, 9-5. In Game 2, the Cardinals pull off the 4-3 win. Chloe Sams hits a walk-off home run to lift Labette over Highland. Labette finishes in 2nd place in the conference. St. Louis hosts Colorado for their final game of their series. The Cardinals go for the series sweep today, and they'll get it with a 2-0 win. Nolan Arenado homers in the 2nd and scores in the 4th off a double by Yadier Molina. The Royals have hit a slump, losing their last 7 games. Today, Kansas City hosts Game 3 of their series against Chicago. The Royals can't snap the skid. They fall 9-3. And that's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
Many have
place to get started.
Congressional Republicans face a reckoning this week. They're set to vote on whether to oust Liz Cheney from her leadership position. CBS's Christina Ruffini is at the White House with why this move isn't just about leadership. It has bigger implications.
We need a conference chair that is delivering that message day in and day out and uniting the nation.
Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy initially stood by his conference chair colleague Liz Cheney when other House Republicans wanted her kicked out of leadership for voting to impeach former President Trump after the January 6 Capitol riots.
I don't believe that he should be playing a role in the future of the party or the country.
Now, he's standing by someone else.
Do you support Elise Stefanik for that job?
Yes, I do.
Stefanik, who represents a rural part of upstate New York, has a less conservative voting record, but a greater loyalty to the former president. In a press release, Mr. Trump called Cheney a warmongering fool and endorsed Stefanik as a, quote, superior choice. But not everyone in the GOP agrees.
They're going to get rid of Liz Cheney because they'd much rather pretend that the conspiracy is either real or not confront it.
It just bothers me that you have to swear fealty to the dear leader or you get kicked out of the party.
A recent CBS News poll found 70% of Republicans do not believe Joe Biden was the legitimate winner of the November election. On Wednesday, Republican House members will vote to see if Liz Cheney keeps her leadership seat. Christina Ruffini, CBS News, the White House.
We're back with a final check of the forecast next. We've got some exciting news that we want to share with you that's coming up this week on KOAM and Fox 14. On Thursday, we're going to be hosting Vaccine Day. Experts from Mercy Hospital will be taking your calls and answering your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. So make sure you tune in to each newscast, starting with the KOAM Morning News, for our Vaccine Day special. Quick look at that forecast, Nick.
Rain chances tomorrow through Wednesday, Chris, with highs holding around 60, but then we'll clear out and warm back up starting Thursday.
All right, Nick, thank you. That's our time for now, and thanks for making us part of your night.